Alright, working on BB2 for your IXL algebra class. I'm going to be working on basically solving equations, finding x. There's quite a few number of things that work in your BB2. There's multiple different questions, there's different ways to answer, all building upon the next one to get you to the end, hopefully getting an A on this one. But start off just kind of the brief lesson, axis of symmetry for a parabola. So a parabola, it's just if you have a graph, it's like when you do your graphing, it's just one of those curves one time, looks like a big U. Sideways, upside down, doesn't matter. So it looks like this way. We're going to be talking about mostly this way and this way. Either going up or down or the other. All right. So the axis symmetry, the equation is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. We've talked about one of these already, but what we're going to be doing is given down here some of these problems, given the equations, we're going to be using this guy right here, x equals negative b over 2a, to solve this and find x. Now, to start off, that's all we're going to have to do. We're going to find our y-intercepts. We already know how to do that, just kind of a brief reminder. We're going to be finding x, and then later on we're going to be finding x and then solving with x, and then later on after that we're going to be finding x, solving with x, and then putting it in coordinate form, so or ordered pairs. To start off, I haven't figured out if I'm going to do 2 videos or 1. If I do 1, it's just going to be a long one, and it's going to take a while for me to upload it, but oh well. Alright, so find the y-intercept. It's you really got to pay attention to your first few questions, because even I made a mistake on these because I didn't read my instructions. They'll ask you like 2 or 3 find y-intercept questions, and you'll do a few of these types, and then it'll jump back up here and do one of the find y-intercept, and if you start solving for this, you're going to miss one. I'm guilty of that, so pay attention to that. Don't misread your instructions. If it says find y-intercept, it's the easiest thing you got to do. Just make sure you pay attention to the question. Okay, so right here, find the y-intercept. It's not any different than y equals mx plus b, how b is our y-intercept. The extra number without the variables is always the y-intercept. So in this case, the y-intercept is just 1. Okay, over here, 2, finding the y-intercept. Well, notice there's no extra number. So what does it mean if there's no extra number? Hopefully you said that it's just 0. Okay, the y-intercept can be 0. So in that case, the y-intercept is 0. Now back down here, the main reason for BB2 is this thing right here, finding x. So what we're going to be doing is simplifying any number written in improper or proper fractions or integers. Basically, all that means is find the x. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is using this equation, ax squared plus bx plus c, and we're going to be using it down here to find x. Okay, so x is negative b over 2a. Okay, well, here's our b and here's our a. Okay, we're not really worried about c. We've already dealt with c with finding the y-intercept. Now we're dealing with a and b. Okay, so looking here, you'll notice there's not a plus 2x or minus 5x or whatever. So what does that mean? Well, hopefully you know that means that there is no x's back here, just like there's no y-intercept. So if there's 0 x's, that means if this is your b is going to be here. So you're going to rewrite this, and don't forget what coefficient's in front of this x. Hopefully you know that that's an imaginary 1. Okay, so we're going to be using this 1 and this 0 to find x. All right, so b is here. B is here. So negative b, so negative 0, which we can't have, but we'll deal with that in a minute. And then 2 times 1, since a is 1. Okay, so we're going to have negative 0, which can't happen. So 0 over 2. So what is 0 divided by 2? Hopefully you know that is 0. Now, another mistake you're going to make. Don't just go into IXL and hit x is 0. Okay? No, you can't just put this and say, oh, it's just 0. No, it actually wants you to type out x equals 0. Yeah, made that mistake too. So don't make my same mistake and have to answer a few extra problems that you don't need to. Okay, so make sure you put x equals 0 when it asks you for this type of problem. All right, doing it again. Now we actually have a b. So remember, x is negative b over 2a. Okay, x is negative b over 2a. So now we have 1, don't forget, up here at the coefficient in front of the x squared. So negative b, so notice it's a positive 6, so we got to just plug in negative b. So remember the 6 is positive, so just leave it positive on the inside. And then 2a, 2 times a is 1. And so negative 6 over 2a, which is just 2. So negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. So you would write in the either your whatever you're solving on, x is negative 3. So make sure you don't forget to put the x equals part. Okay, big issue there. All right, and the last one. Notice we've just grown. We didn't have any b or c here. Didn't have any c here. Now I've thrown a c. Nothing changes if you're looking just for the x. If you're only looking for the x, that means x is negative b over 2a. And then we got b, which is 3. And don't forget, the equation calls for a negative. And then over, don't forget the 1 in front. 2 times 1. And most of the ones I come across were like this. They didn't really have a coefficient in front of the x squared until very later on. And so we got negative 3 over 2, and you can leave it just like that. Okay, so x is negative 3 over 2. All right, leaving the computer just like that doesn't make a difference. If you want to put, I don't think it, I didn't type it in. I probably wouldn't attempt typing negative 1.5, strictly because in the instructions it says simplify any number and write in proper, improper fractions or integers. It doesn't say anything about solving it and putting decimals. So make sure you do proper, improper fractions. This is considered an improper fraction. And then I'll do part 2 with the other problems. I don't want to make the video too long.